Text the guys on the First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. And call your shot on the Riverwind Casino jackpot line at 405-329-9000.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Yeah. I'd call that a successful OV weekend for the illustrious University of Oklahoma.
It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
Talk about major recruiting news across the wire today. I would say it is the biggest recruiting news in the Oklahoma sphere since last September when Cooper Hackett and Caden Penny committed to Oklahoma in the same hour. Grayson Singleton.
Sure.
Today, the news at 9 a.m. sharp, courtesy of Hayes Fawcett, as it typically is with commitments, is that four-star cornerback Gabriel Osborne of Mustang, America, is going to be staying within state lines and playing his college football in the Crimson and Cream. And Grayson, the fact that OU landed Gabriel Osborne in itself is not shocking. What is shocking is the timeline on which this all came to pass. Because going into the OV weekend, we discussed it on the show. This was kind of the feeling within. Gabe Osborne himself said it just 2 weeks ago when I visited him out in Mustang on behalf of Soonerscoop.com. He was not supposed to make a decision this early. He was supposed to take official visits, not only to OU, but to Alabama this coming weekend and to Ohio State the following weekend, and he was supposed to make an informed decision from there. And yet, the Sooner staff hit this sucker out of the park on the OV, and Gabriel Osborne is one and done. There will be no official visit to Alabama. There will be no official visit to Ohio State. Iowa State. Obviously, there's not going to be an official visit to Iowa State.
Hey, yo.
But there will be no official visit to Michigan or to Miami or anywhere else but the school to which Gabe Osborne is now committed, the illustrious University of Oklahoma, which adds him this morning as their 23rd verbal commit of the 2027 cycle. What a victory on the trail for Brent Venables and his staff. To a man, everybody in that building deserves flowers for pulling this off.
Absolutely. And, the number 23 is iconic because it's, associated with some greatness, especially in the sport of basketball. But when it comes to Gabe Osborne and greatness, right, I will go as far as to say I think this is one of the highest projectable ceilings in the class. As a matter of fact, you know what? This might be a little bit of a hot take. I'll put him as the highest projectable ceiling in the class, even more so than Cooper Hackett and Caden Penny as well when you look at Gabe Osborne Jr. And right now, he is a cat who just looks different. You see him on the high school field, he doesn't belong. He belongs in a bigger arena. He belongs with guys who are at the collegiate level. And when you watch his ability and you look at how raw of a talent he is, because that's what we forget to mention a lot of times, this dude is so raw right now. There's still a lot of fine-tuning that needs to be done, and he's still this good right now. I haven't kept this a secret. I'm very, very excited about what Gabe Osborne can do, and the fact that Oklahoma not just got him to commit, but got him to kick Alabama to the curb and kick Ohio State to the curb in the process as well and say, no, I don't need to take the visit. I'm where I need to be here. It gives you a little bit of confidence in saying that Gabe knows he's making the right decision. And look, man, we just saw a freshman in Cortland Guillory become a freshman All-American this year. I think Gabe Osborne has a higher projectable ceiling than even that dude.
As we sit here today, Gabriel Osborne is not a five-star prospect in technicality. He is verging on that territory, though. The number 29 player in the Rivals 300, regardless of position, i.e., the 29th best prospect in the entire country. Trivia question for you here, Mr. Singleton. You have a 50% chance of being right. Has the illustrious University of Oklahoma ever signed a 5-star cornerback in the modern recruiting era?
No.
The answer is indeed no. The closest they ever came was with Buki Radley-Hiles.
I was just finna say, I was like, is this Buki?
There are 32 5-stars
Yep.
in every class.
Yep.
Buki was number 33 in the 2018 cycle, so he was just off that 5-star pedestal. But to this point, in the 21st century, Oklahoma has never signed a 5-star cornerback. There's a very strong chance that drought ends with Gabe Osborne. And it kind of feels like this is the one position, Grayson, where Oklahoma really hasn't had a seismic recruiting victory yet in the Brent Venables era.
Sure.
All across the board. I mean, you can run it on down. The amount of, and whether the guy's panned out or not, it feels like at every other position on the football field, Oklahoma has kind of had a seminal recruiting victory under Brent Venables. From Jackson Arnold at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It was a win at the time.
Again, regardless of how they panned out.
Yeah. To, keeping the hometown kid home in David Stone back in the 2024 cycle.
Sure.
5-star defensive tackle. So, cornerback, though, and Oklahoma had recruited it well. There's no debating that. Jay Valai had recruited the cornerback position really well at Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
But he had consistently just found guys that were in that low to mid 4-star range that projected as really good players, and you could see that there was something there if they were developed properly. Cortland Guillory,
Yep.
Eli Bowen come readily to mind as the most glaring examples. Jacoby Johnson comes to mind as well. But Oklahoma, as long as Jay Valai was here, this is not a knock on Valai, this is just kind of how it happened. Oklahoma didn't land that guy at cornerback. And Lamar Morgan has been on staff for all of 4 months. And so for him, I know we talked about this a little bit last week leading into the Osborne official visit, but for him to pick up where Valai left off relationally in this process, and as seamlessly as it all kind of unfolded, as seamlessly as he grabbed the baton from Jay Valai and kept Oklahoma trending at the top of Gabe Osborne's recruitment, he deserves an enormous amount of credit for what transpired today. It's the culmination of the process and Osborne's commitment.
It's almost like a relay race, right? Like we watch the 4x100 at the Olympics when it comes around, and you want your faster guy running the anchor leg, right? Because you want that guy to be able to take the baton and not slow down the pace. And that's what that makes me think of when you talk about the relational transition between Jay Valai and now to Lamar Morgan. It seemed as if it went on like a perfect handoff without a hitch. And what's fascinating to me about Lamar Morgan, too, is that not only did he take that recruitment over, but he ended up identifying a guy, whether they get Trenton Blaylock or not. He ended up taking over and saying, you know what, I like that guy. Let me go pursue him individually. He's obviously has, been a part of offering, the Brendan Sherrods of the world, Bryce Williams of the world, too. So it almost seems to me as if he now is taking ownership of that room and has taken ownership of the room rather expeditiously, too, which I think goes a long way into learning a little bit about our new cornerbacks coach as well, Park.
By the way, I should have mentioned this off the top. I neglected to. But we are on KREF 2 today because of baseball, live from down in Atlanta as the Sooners battle for a spot in Super Regionals with Georgia Tech. So if you're still listening and you can hear us, let us know on the First Liberty Bank text line, 405-651-3439. I just want to make sure we're not broadcasting to 0 people.
Hey, and by the way, we're on YouTube, too, as
we
well.
We are on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to the KREF Sports YouTube channel, you should, because on a day like today where you need a backup feed, as it were, an alternate means of listening, the YouTube feed comes in real handy. So again, the First Liberty Bank text line is 405-651-3439. The show today is brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno, family owned and operated. GMC offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today, and the folks at Dorsey Jones are the people to go to if you need to get behind the wheel of a brand new GMC. Many of their employees have been with the company for 20-plus years, experienced, passionate, knowledgeable, all things good out there in El Reno at Dorsey Jones. So go check them out. General Booty's Lieutenant says, good afternoon, guys, and I think this ties in nicely with the whole Osborne conversation. Parker, I have a question. Which of our current 2027 commits could you see having the highest rise in terms of rankings during their senior year? I will say this, General Booty's Lieutenant, if you made me pick which prospect winds up the highest rated signee for Oklahoma when all is said and done, I would choose Gabe Osborne.
That would be the answer I would go with, too.
Because all respect to Caden Penny and Cooper Hackett, but I think the reality of the position that Osborne plays
Bingo.
is that there's more value there in NFL draft circles right now placed on the cornerback position than there is on the interior offensive line position, guard, center, whatever. So I think that gives Osborne a significantly higher ceiling with regard to what his ultimate ranking could be than Penny. And then Hackett, of course, is going to miss his senior year due to shoulder surgery. So that's going to put a hard cap, in all likelihood, on how high he can stick in the rankings over the next 6 to 8 months. And so if you made me pick who Oklahoma's highest rated signee on National Signing Day is, I am going with Gabe Osborne. That said, if you wanted to talk about who's going to be the highest riser in the class between now and signing day, who's going to gain the most spots from where they are now to where they are when they put pen to paper in favor of Oklahoma, or I guess file an e-signature on DocuSign, because that's how it happens these days. But there are two guys that spring to mind. One is Michael Davis. I have made it no secret on the show. I am a huge, huge fan of Michael Davis and think he is criminally underrated as a high 3-star right now. He screams Cortland Guillory to me. And much as Cortland Guillory was a high 3-star for pretty much the entire way in the 2025 cycle, I think that could wind up being the case for Michael Davis. But regardless of where he's ultimately ranked, I think that's somebody that's going to come in and have a year-one impact. I do. The other one, though, is the other commit that Oklahoma picked up over the weekend. And lest we ignore him, let him get lost in the shuffle, they did grab a fully expected pledge from Brenham, Texas running back Jakoby Dixon.
Yeah.
And this kid is a 3-star right now. The reason he is a 3-star is because he missed the overwhelming majority of his junior year due to injury. Prior to his junior year, he was considered one of the premier running backs in the entire country and had the offer sheet to back it up. And so Oklahoma is banking on the bounce back with Jakoby Dixon. They are banking on a return to form from that kid. And if that is what you get from Dixon, there is no question he will be right back in blue chip territory by the end of the season.
Sure. Let me throw another one out for you just because we see this sometimes.
Okay.
If you talk about highest risers, could I look at a guy who hasn't played a whole lot of football that can figure it out and jump? And by that guy, I mean Andover, Kansas's Tyson Ross. I look at a guy like him who hasn't played football very long. I look at a guy like him who hasn't played on the offensive line his whole time he's been playing football either. And, you see him working out with former offensive linemen in the NFL. I can't remember which Sooner it was that you posted he had a
Darrell Williams.
Thank you, Darrell Williams. So I look at that and I say, okay, now he's committed to Oklahoma. He now knows that, okay, I got to get better so I can make a dent on a college football SEC roster. I wonder if this is the year where he shoots up because he has all the physical intangibles. He's got the size. He's got the raw gifts and whatnot. I wonder if a guy like him who hasn't played as much takes a jump in the rankings with an incredible senior year.
I think he deserves it. The harsh reality, though, is Kansas kids don't really get the benefit of the doubt.
And you can kind of see why that might be.
You can. Fair or unfair,
Uh-huh.
he probably does not have the same explosive potential to rise up the rankings as a guy like Dixon or a guy like Davis does. But no question. I think that dude, right now, I would have him on the low end of 4-star territory. I think he is underrated as of this moment.
Mm-hmm.
But where he ultimately ranks is anyone's guess. Braylon from the 580 says, I'm listening from somewhere in Mississippi on our way home to Oklahoma for my mom and dad's anniversary in Destin. That's a diehard right there. We appreciate you, Braylon. Man, somewhere in Mississippi can be a scary place to be, depending on where exactly somewhere in Mississippi is.
I was about to say.
You drive through a lot of backwoods towns going through Mississippi.
Before he clarified
bad vibes.
Before he clarified where he was from, I was like, why the hell are you in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi?
Oh, man. Deer Creek Sooner asks, Parker, could Hackett fall out of 5-star territory due to injury and Osborne move up to 5-star? Unfortunately, yes, that is entirely possible.
Do you think it's on the board that Hackett falls that far?
Yes, I think it's on the board.
Okay.
Do I think it will happen? No, because I think the position that he plays in conjunction with the specific procedure that he's having done gives him a certain level of insulation. It's not like you're talking about a wide receiver and an Achilles here. It's a left tackle, a legit, no question, 5-star left tackle, and a shoulder. A labrum, to be more specific. So it's going to affect his ranking. That is only natural. I wouldn't guess that he drops out of that 5-star tier, but it's a possibility. I would concede that it certainly is.
Sure.
Oklahoma got 2 commitments over the weekend, as we discussed. Jakoby Dixon on Sunday morning, Gabriel Osborne on this fine Monday morning. They hold the number 2 class in the nation, according to Rivals. They have 23 verbal commits on the board.
Man.
And are poised for more coming out of the big official visit weekend. We'll talk about the buzz on some of the other visitors that were in town. And unfortunately, it's not all good news as far as Oklahoma recruiting goes in general right now. So the other shoe will drop on the other side. Keep it right here on the Ref. The home of Sooner fans, we shall return.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra, by engineering each one to outperform your expectations. So you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
The Gimme Zone is back. Join Golf Digest panelist Brian Vineyard and myself, Josh Elmer, every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 a.m. as we break down and dissect everything in the world of golf right here on the Ref and the KREF app. The Gimme Zone is brought to you by our friends at Van Hoos Fence, the premier fence company in Oklahoma. Hear from great guests and from the game's biggest stars as we spend every moving day with you. From February at Pebble Beach through the majors to the Tour Championship in September, the number one choice for golf coverage in the state of Oklahoma, it's right here on the Ref.
No matter what a strong future looks like to you, you can start building it with a home equity line of credit. Hi, I'm Adam Hurst with Armstrong Bank. There's no time like the present to take advantage of your home equity. From home renovations to wedding expenses, vacations to new cars, the future is yours with a HELOC from Armstrong Bank. Visit armstrong.bank/HELOC to get started. Armstrong Bank. Strength runs in our family. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Troy Green. I grew up in foster care, homeless and forgotten. I know what it means to struggle just to survive. I wasn't born into power. I fought my way through it. I became a police officer, a coach, and a small business owner, and spent my life protecting families, helping kids, and standing up for working people. Washington already works for the powerful. I'm running for the people they overlook. So I'm asking for your vote June 16th. I'm Troy Green, and I approve this message because it's time to bring integrity and accountability back to Washington and respect and dignity back to Oklahoma.
Racing season is here at Remington Park. Giddy up and let's go racing. Thursday through Saturday with first post time at 6 p.m. Come feel the fastest fun around. Remington Park has the winning experience for everyone. Their casino is open 24 hours a day, and new members earn up to $50 of free play. Explore the excitement of the Oklahoma City casino scene with top games, dining, and entertainment options available. Remington Park Racing and Casino. Call 405-424-1000 or visit remingtonpark.com.
Some things in life are preventable.
Ooh, gas station sushi.
That's preventable.
I'm just going to tell my boss what I really think of him.
That too. The Colorectal Cancer Alliance wants you to know a lot of things in life are preventable. Colon cancer is common and deadly, but that's also preventable.
Oh my gosh, it's a bear! Let's get a selfie with it.
Preventable! The Alliance is doing its part to end colorectal cancer. Now, do yours. If you're 45 or older, talk to your doctor about the screening options available. Go to colorectalcancer.org to learn more.
Looking for heavy equipment but don't know where to buy? Purple Wave Auction has you covered. Always online and always no reserve. It's your destination for construction or ag equipment ready to work. We even sell semis, trailers, and fleet equipment for your operation. Best part? It's free to join. Head to purplewave.com. That's purplewave.com. Sign up for a free account and start bidding today. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change, called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Not once in the 21st century had the great state of Oklahoma produced 3 top 50 recruits in the same cycle until the 2027 cycle, which of course features Cooper Hackett, Caden Penny, and Gabe Osborne. Not only did the state produce 3 top 50 recruits for the first time in the modern recruiting era, but all 3 of them are now committed to the illustrious University of Oklahoma. Good day for the Sooners, adding Osborne to the fold as the 23rd verbal commit of their class. And, you know, Grayson, this seems like, I mentioned this in the 12 o'clock hour as well. Mm-hmm. This seems like the type of thing that Oklahoma would do with some regularity, right? You find out, oh, Oklahoma's got the top 3 prospects in the state committed. That happens pretty frequently, right?
Not
it's
really.
only happened twice in the modern recruiting era. Twice. It happened in 2013, and it happened in 2017. It's a relative rarity. It is a lot more uncommon than you would expect it to be at a school like Oklahoma, because there's always somebody crashing the party.
Yeah.
Whether it's Oklahoma State or whether it's Arkansas or whether it's Auburn in the 2025 cycle with Broderick Shull. Remember him?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There are countless other examples from years gone by. Nebraska grabbing one of the top 3 from within state lines. Michigan coming down to get Dax Hill in 2019. One of just 2 5-stars that the Sooner State has produced in the 21st century prior to this 2027 cycle. But it's just the 3rd time in the modern recruiting era that Oklahoma has earned commitments from the top 3 players within state lines. We can assume that these 3 are going to remain the top 3 for the rest of the cycle. It would take a lot to change that.
It would take a lot, and also from who? Like, who would be the other candidate?
Exactly. Like, Samaj Stanford's really, really good.
Oh, that's true.
But is he quite on that same level as Caden Penny, Cooper Hackett, and Gabriel Osborne, especially because of position value?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably not. So, as of right now, Oklahoma holds commitments for the number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 9 players in the state. Number 9, of course, being Graydon Howell out of Broken Bow, who's committed to play wide receiver at Oklahoma. Now, the Sooners are still in heavy pursuit of 2 additional in-state prospects. One of them is Washington, Oklahoma linebacker Case Alexander. Due in town for his OV June 12th through the 14th. As we mentioned at the tail end of Friday's show, he's actually going to OV to Penn State first now and then wrap up with his Oklahoma OV. Previously, the plan had been to do Oklahoma June 12th through the 14th and then Penn State June 19th through the 21st. But he has moved that Penn State date up to June 5th through the 7th. So Oklahoma will get the last shot. And I mean, they got a shot, Grayson. They got more of a shot than I would have said they had 2-3 weeks ago even. So they're going to have a chance. I don't know whether I would consider it a likelihood or even a strong possibility right now, but they're going to have a chance to keep Case Alexander home. And it certainly matters, right? It certainly matters that you have the top 3 players in the state already committed. Those guys are going to be able to put some – hey, I mean, the pitch is really simple if you're Cooper Hackett, Caden Penny, and or Gabe Osborne. You tell that kid, hey, look, we're building for a national championship here, and we're building it with local talent. It's getting built around us, the Okie boys. Come be a part of this. Oklahoma born, Oklahoma bred, stay here, play your college football in the same uniform that your dad did, and we'll see if it hits home. It might not. However, the other in-state prospect that Oklahoma has long been pursuing is 4-star tight end Ben Kolar, who is 10 minutes from these very offices at Norman North High.
Mm-hmm.
And for the last 3 or 4 weeks, what we've discussed on the show is that things look really, really good for Oklahoma with Kolar. If there's one thing you have to worry about, it's Stanford pulling a Stanford. And what that means is, Stanford does this every year. They try to get on the OV slate first. And they, for lack of a better word, try to hotbox these kids. They will do everything in their power to make sure. And there's a lot of prestige out there, and it's a beautiful campus, and there's a lot to tout academically in particular if you're Stanford University. And so they will pump everything that there is to like about that degree, about that university, about that football program, as everybody does. But because they have a prestige factor that so few schools in the country can go toe-to-toe with, what they will make every effort to do is press their official visitors for commitments while they're on campus and shut it down and not entertain the schools that remain on their OV slate. And they have success with this every year. And so what we had talked about regarding Oklahoma and Ben Kolar is you got to be on the lookout for Stanford because they are getting the first OV and they have made it count in the past, even when they go in ostensibly at a disadvantage with some of the schools that they're competing with for talent. And, well, let me tell you, Mr. Singleton, after Ben Kolar was at Stanford this past weekend for that OV, there is serious doubt whether he is even going to make it back to the University of Oklahoma for his scheduled midweek official on Wednesday.
And I guess we don't have to wait very long to figure that out, whether or not that's going to happen.
Either he will be there or he will not.
I was about to say, we're 48 hours removed from that. But, man, you kind of got to give it up to Stanford.
TLDR, Stanford hit a home run, man. And sometimes that happens. Oh, you just did it with Gabe Osborne? And they might get victimized by it.
What do we always say? The recruiting cycle give us and recruiting cycle taketh away. And, you know, Stanford's got its pulls. It's got its pulls. Now, I will say the football that has been displayed on the field the last couple of years is not one of them. But, I mean, when you look at that campus, you obviously look at the education that you can get out there. And you mentioned his dad is a professor.
Both of his parents are very, very
both of his parents.
Yes, like distinguished academics.
So there you go. That was a cue in to me that Stanford could be in play here. But, you know, you have Seneca Driver as the number 1 tight end in the country. He's committed to you. You can go down the board and figure out where you want to pivot from there if, indeed, Ben Kolar does not make it onto campus for his midweek official visit. But to me, it's just one of those things where recruiting gives and recruiting takes away. And in this day and age of NIL and, you know, all that kind of stuff, you don't have 7 institutions that hoard all the 5 and 4 stars, which to me makes college football better. But, you know, you get a couple of L's every now and then, but no need to panic. It's all good.
Well, and just kind of gauging, and I had this conversation with a couple different sources Friday afternoon leading into the weekend, talking about Kolar scheduled for his midweek. There was an understanding that Stanford was going to push the envelope and try to get Kolar to shut it down and try to get him to cancel all his remaining OVs and jump on board with the Cardinal. And OU's stance was, and will continue to be, we got 6 more months to show this kid why it makes a lot more sense for him to play college football in Norman, Oklahoma, than it does for him to play college football in Palo Alto, California, and to play football for the University of Oklahoma in front of 84,000 people every weekend than Stanford University on Saturdays where, I mean, some of those crowds are very, very, very light.
Sure.
That's just kind of, that's West Coast football when your program isn't doing very well.
There's way too much other attention, other stuff to command your attention.
You see it up like when Oregon State, Stanford, Cal, UCLA, when those schools are good, people show up. When they're not good, people do not show up.
There's a lot to do in L.A.
And, of course, Stanford has not been very good the last few years. So, Oklahoma, if indeed Kolar does commit to Stanford in the coming days, I believe they will continue to play the long game here. Now, you can't wait forever. At a certain point in time, they will have to start evaluating other options at the tight end position if things go a certain way here with Kolar. But if he did commit to Stanford, assuming things stay on track and Stanford has seized the edge, seized the advantage in that recruitment, that's where I'm expecting him to commit as of now. But if that happens, I don't know that Oklahoma is going to react immediately. I don't know that you will see new tight end offers go out hours later. I think what Oklahoma will try and do is change Kolar's mind. Pure and simple. Like, do with him what they did with Jaden Petit a year ago. Say, look, okay, man, congrats on the decision. Happy for you. We still want you here. We're still going to keep the foot on the gas. We're still going to do everything we can to make sure you wind up staying home and being a part of our class. And it worked out in the end with Petit for a few reasons. One, Wisconsin kind of sucked, and that's where he was committed. 2, Oklahoma won a bunch of football games. And 3, they got him back to campus in the fall and made him feel comfortable with the fit in Norman. All of those factors are very much on the table with Ben Kolar as well. And so I don't get the sense that Oklahoma is just going to pack it up and move on immediately, not with all of the work that Jason Witten and Ben Arbuckle both have done in this recruitment to try and keep Oklahoma a step ahead of the competition. And they have been for quite some time, well, up until this past weekend.
Okay, let me ask you this, and then there's a lot on the YouTube chat I want to get to. If Kolar does not take the midweek visit, is that where we call deuces on this, or are they still going to keep pushing if he doesn't take the visit?
I think they will keep pushing.
Okay.
I think they will kind of feel it out, see how resolute Kolar is with the hypothetical decision to commit to Stanford, and then from there, that kind of dictates how they approach things moving forward. CJ Sooner in Florida, a man after my own heart, preached this gospel. He said, if you're an Oklahoma kid choosing Stanford or over OU, fine. And I mean, that's true. Like, I'm never going to fault anybody for choosing to further their education at Stanford. You can't.
No.
But the second part of CJ Sooner's text was, move on to the kid from Jenks.
The kid that you like, by the way.
Braxton Daniel. Yep. Come on. That's it, man. That's the kid. You ask me where Oklahoma ought to pivot if they just have no foreseeable path ahead to turning Kolar away from Stanford, you go offer Braxton Daniel.
Yeah.
And you should be able to get that done pretty expeditiously. And he's a really good player. There's a lot to like about that kid.
And that answers a question on the YouTube chat from Jake. He said, who's the next tight end, or are they content only taking driver? Do you think they would only take one tight end?
It is not the preferred outcome right now for Oklahoma. They would like to take 2.
There you go.
They have had their eyes set on 2 for quite a while. And it looked, for the longest time, like Jason Witten was just going to go 2 for 2 with the 2 guys that he really, really wanted in Driver and Kolar, which, again, like still on the table. There's still a lot of conversations that are going to happen in the coming days, and we'll see where this goes. But Stanford has definitely seized the edge in Ben Kolar's recruitment, and it's not a given that Oklahoma even gets to take their shot. hosting Kolar for an OV at this point.
Trey asks, is Blaylock even a take if his brother wasn't even on the team? Feels like Williams and Sherrard are in a different class. I could be wrong.
Okay. I mean, Oklahoma has 3 cornerback commits right now with the addition of Osborne in Michael Davis, and Mikhail McCreary. They would like to take 4. As I understand it, they put a lot of pressure on Bryce Williams, the 4-star cornerback out of Fort Lauderdale, this weekend, to shut it down and commit on his OV. He did not. I think if Oklahoma had gotten Williams and Osborne, they'd have probably had to make a hard call to Trenton Blaylock at that point. Similarly, Oklahoma did do really, really, really well with the other first-time visitor at cornerback in Brandon Sherrard out of Pearland, Texas. They're in good shape there. And so I don't think they're going to get Bryce Williams. I still believe that kid's going to wind up at Nebraska. But there's one spot left, and it's essentially a standoff right now between Brandon Sherrard and Trenton Blaylock. Who wants to slide to Norman first?
And
who wants to claim that spot?
And we've already said that Blaylock's biggest competition as it pertains to Oklahoma is Texas.
It is.
And who would that be for Brandon Sherrard?
Watching LSU right now. I think that's going to be the biggest thorn in Oklahoma's side. But,
so worthy opponent.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm very impressed with the momentum that Oklahoma accrued this weekend in Sherrard's recruitment. They did more to close the gap with the other schools than I expected that they were going to be able to. And I know there are some that believe, just kind of gauging where some of the national analysts across the Rivals Network stand on this recruitment in particular. There's some that believe Oklahoma grabbed the lead for Sherrard this weekend. So
has he taken an OV to LSU yet?
He has not. Oklahoma was his first.
Okay.
So we'll see where this goes in the weeks ahead, but Oklahoma established themselves as a player in that recruitment moving forward. And it kind of feels like you're playing with house money now, right? Like you got Gabe Osborne. Mikhail McCreary and Michael Davis aren't going anywhere. Whoever you get for that 4th spot, you good with it.
Sure.
I mean, you can live with the outcome regardless. And Osborne is the crown jewel of that cornerback class. There is no question about it. 405-651-3439 is the first Liberty Bank text line. A jam-packed Monday installment of Locked In rolls on next. Hit us up via the text line. We got one final segment to come. Keep it right here.
The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510.
Hey everybody, Mike Steely here, your favorite regional radio star, inviting you to join us every day, noon to 2 here on the Ref with Parker Thune and myself. We'll be talking all things Sooner football, of course. I'll talk about the attention-seeking clowns as well. There's also no better way to take us with you everywhere than by downloading the KREF app, presented by Warren Cat on your Apple or Android device. We're talking about a great app here, folks. It's so easy, even this old man can do it. That's the KREF app, presented by Warren Cat, proud sponsor of Sooner Athletics.
Buffalo Wild Wings is bringing the heat this summer with the return of the Cornhole Tournaments. Make plans to be in Mustang on Saturday, May 30th. Registration kicks off at 11 a.m. and the tournament starts at high noon. Grab your crew, enjoy drink specials all event long, and compete for some awesome prizes for first, second, and third place. Don't miss the 2026 Summer Cornhole Tournament at Buffalo Wild Wings in Mustang, Saturday, May 30th, starting at 11 a.m.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
The one thing that we're most proud of here at Lewis Jewelers is our reputation. We didn't have the good fortune of inheriting a jewelry business from our dad or our granddad. My brother Glenn and I started our business 40 years ago as a means to pay for college, and we took turns going to class and running the store. We've always had to work harder at earning your business. We're known for making quality jewelry at affordable prices and delivering service, and we built that reputation one customer at a time. I'm Tim Lewis, and if you're ready to buy an engagement ring, visit us here at Lewis Jewelers. We have so many different rings to choose from that your biggest problem will be deciding which one you like best. and we still work harder to earn your business. Why don't you come in and tell us what it would take to become your jeweler? Lewis Jewelers is on I-35 and more. We want to be your jeweler. Call us at 703-4644. A diamond is forever.
Looking for a better way to bank? Join OU Federal Credit Union and experience the difference. If you are tired of hidden fees and impersonal service at your big bank, well, you deserve better, and that's what you'll find at OU Federal Credit Union. They offer competitive rates on loans and savings accounts. Plus, they're a local member-owned institution. Join OU Federal Credit Union today and discover the benefits of being a part of a community that cares. Visit OUFCU.com or stop by the branches today. Member savings insured up to $250,000 by NCUA.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
Teachers are dynamic leaders shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org, supported by the U.S. Department of Education and 1 million teachers of color.
Entrepreneurs and More Norman in South Oklahoma City have an experienced business partner in their neighborhood. More Norman Technology Center's workforce and economic development team understands the challenges entrepreneurs and small businesses face every day. From building an effective business model to hiring the right employees and managing cash flow, More Norman's business development experts can help you move forward confidently and thrive, knowing that you have a skilled partner at your side. Learn more about More Norman's Technology Center by calling 405-801-5000 or visit us online at mntc.edu.
405-651-3439 is the First Liberty Bank text line. If you want to get any last-minute questions, comments, discussion points sent our way. Parker Thune alongside Grayson Singleton here in the Buffalo Wild Wings studio. So Oklahoma got Jakoby Dixon this weekend. They got Gabe Osborne this morning. And Grayson, the second any expert prediction gets entered these days, it gets aggregated all over Twitter.com. So if you're on social media, I'm not sure it's much of a secret at this point. Oklahoma pretty clearly emerged over the course of the OV as the leader in the clubhouse in the recruitment of Uhila Wolfgram.
Mm-hmm.
And after Miles Smith dropped off the OV slate late, committing to Indiana, we talked about kind of the fallout that could have for Oklahoma as far as just prioritizing all the more the pursuit of Wolfgram this past weekend, and they did so, and he was the only uncommitted edge on campus, and Oklahoma got the chance to really unroll the red carpet for the Spanish Fork, Utah native. And as of right now, he's scheduled for an official visit to BYU June 19th through the 21st. That might not happen. That's how good the vibes are on the Oklahoma end of things right now. So Miguel Chavis is getting real close to locking down what would be a fantastic edge class between Crew Jones, Wolfgram, and the Bryant, Arkansas native Samuel Nelson.
And that also gets you one step closer to going 3 for 3 in the state of Arkansas as well with
Utah.
Utah. Shoot, my bad. Utah with Wolfgram, Jones, and hopefully, eventually, Bodie Sparrow as well.
Yeah, and I think many who listen to this show and are diehards certainly consume Oklahoma recruiting content wherever they can get it. And I would hope that most, if not all of them, are subscribed to Soonerscoop.com. Even if you're not, I'm sure you saw over the weekend on the Soonerscoop.com YouTube channel, we got Bodie Sparrow into the studios on Saturday. Mid-OV. He dropped by, did a 10, 15-minute interview with us about his experience on the OV and just his thoughts on Oklahoma and kind of where things stand in his recruitment as a whole. And, yeah, the vibes are really, really good there, and I don't think that's going to change. I would be very surprised at this point if Oklahoma doesn't go 3 for 3 in Utah with Sparrow and Wolfgram, and, of course, Crew Jones is already committed and has been for a long time.
Yeah, and to that point about him dropping into your Sooner Scoop studios, do cats like that, do they do those types of interviews if the vibes aren't what they are? Because that doesn't seem like something a lot of people are doing when something's up in the air.
Yeah, and if you watch the interview or you listen to it, it's not hard to figure where his head's at, right? Like there's still room, there's still margin for things to change, obviously.
Well, sure.
But he likes Oklahoma the best right now. I don't think that's a company secret by any means. He's pretty open about it, all things considered, about his love for the OU staff and his relationship with Brandon Hall and just his admiration for Norman, the place, for Oklahoma, the state. There's a lot to like about where Oklahoma sits right now in Bodie Sparrow's recruitment. And there's a very strong possibility that he could be a 6th top 50 commitment.
Sure.
In the 2027 class for Oklahoma long term. The most top 50 players, the most top 50 recruits that Oklahoma has ever signed in the modern era is 4. They did so in 2008. They did so again in 2019. 6.
Mm-hmm.
We're living in a world where they could sign 6.
Sure. One-star S-Rob Boomin has a question that I have, too.
Yeah.
What's the status on Brian Swanson after the OVs and also the other O-line prospects?
Yeah, so Corey Laga is finishing up his OV today. So he got in Saturday, had to come in late, start the OV late, so he's finishing the OV late. He wraps up his OV today. We'll see on that one. I still think it's Texas for Brian Swanson.
Okay.
Nothing has changed my mind there. Nothing has made me come anywhere close to changing my opinion on the ultimate outcome there. I still think that kid's going to be a Longhorn. Oklahoma will break through at South Oak Cliff eventually. They'll get back into South Dallas at some point, but I don't think it's going to be with Brian Swanson.
Okay, so let's play this little fun exercise here. Whether it's South Oak Cliff or Cedar Hill or DeSoto or Duncanville or what have you down there, what do you think is going to be the school they break into finally first?
Gosh, man.
I knew you would get that. I knew that would be the reaction.
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think off the dome. Is there anybody at Duncanville?
Have they gotten anybody at Lancaster recently?
Well, Manny Choice was a Lancaster cat.
Right, that's true.
I believe Markel Ford spent some time there as well.
Yes, he did also.
They're very much in the running for a 4-star 2028 safety out of Lancaster by the name of James Foster.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got good ends at Lancaster, but Duncanville, DeSoto, South Oak Cliff, that kind of big three. It's been, in total, over the past decade, Oklahoma has signed one player from those 3 schools, and it was Savion Byrd in the class of 2021. That's it. Ryan in Jacksonville asks, is Gabe Osborne's ceiling higher than a healthy Gentry Williams? Absolutely it is.
Oh, yes.
And I say that with full confidence that, assuming he is medically able, Gentry Williams will play NFL football one day. Gentry Williams is a very good player when healthy. Gabe Osborne is first-round material. If everything pans out the way it can, the way it should, and he avoids the injury bug, which, of course, Gentry Williams just can't and hasn't, if everything stays on track for Gabe Osborne, that is a dude that will be in the first-round conversation.
Right.
4 years from now. A 916 listener says, this is Booker T, not the wrestler. Sooner fan since 1957. I am amazed at how little clout Lincoln Riley built in Oklahoma. You see what Matt Campbell did to Iowa State? Boomer Sooner. And yeah, man, I think that goes back to one of the prevailing things that we've been talking about on this show ever since its inception in January of 2022. The reality that Brent Venables and his staff have had some bridges to repair. And they've had some cleanup work to do because Lincoln Riley ignored relationships with a lot of high school coaches in the one state where Oklahoma should always have strong relationships with every high school coach at every single high school program that's worth anything. And that was not the case while Lincoln Riley was here. But, I mean, there's been a lot of progress made in that department by Brent Venables and company. Mm-hmm. And if you need any more evidence than the Sooners landing the top 3 players in the class within state lines, all 3 of whom could wind up 5 stars, I don't know what else to offer you. That's pretty resounding evidence right there.
Right. And, for as much as I defend Lincoln Riley, because I do think he's one of the best offensive minds in the country, that is an inexcusable failure to completely alienate yourself with a state, especially like Oklahoma, where you're the biggest thing there. It's not like Texas, where you have the Cowboys. I mean, no, like, you're the biggest thing there. I will ask you this question, though.
Yeah.
What was the dearth of talent? Because this was before I came here. What was the dearth of high school talent like in the state of Oklahoma when Lincoln Riley was here? Were there a lot more OU good players in the state at that point in time?
There were a lot of OU good players that did not come to the University of Oklahoma. I think the 2 that stand out as most memorable to Oklahoma fans would be Dax Hill, who was a 5-star in the 2019 class and went to Michigan. And I think it was that same year that Josh Proctor went to Ohio State. Josh Proctor out of Owasso. Mm-hmm. He was a high 4-star guy, a guy that Oklahoma very, very nearly landed, but failed to push it over the finish line with, and he wound up a Buckeye. So there were many others that fit that bill.
Gotcha.
Many others. Brandon Bixby said Lincoln Riley couldn't grow those relationships because he's such an unlikable person. Well, I mean, that's one take on it, I suppose, but it really is wild to think. I give Brent Venables and I give this coaching staff a ton of credit because they have been good at developing and reestablishing relationships at high schools across the state of Oklahoma. But the impact of the front office in all of this cannot be understated or cannot be overstated, I should say, because there's a very direct correlation between the establishment of Oklahoma's front office and a boom for the Sooners on the recruiting trail, i.e., they're starting to recruit like a legit powerhouse again.
Sure.
The front office officially took shape, I think assumed its final form, in late July, maybe early August of last year. I want to say Patrick Armstrong was the last hire, Oklahoma's scouting coordinator. Ever since that front office has been in place, ever since those guys have been working in concert together, Oklahoma's recruiting has been on another level. And the contrast is stark. You want to talk about in-state recruiting? Let's talk about in-state recruiting. Yeah, Oklahoma's got the top 3 within state lines in the 27 class. You know where the top 3 in the state of Oklahoma signed in the 2026 cycle? Washington, Missouri, and Cal.
Yeah.
Mason James, Taj Overton,
Daniel McMorris.
There you go. And so, Jim Nagy has said on many an occasion, they came in downstream in the 2026 cycle, kind of had to figure things out as they went. They scored some enormous late victories in that recruiting cycle, flipping guys like Josiah Rogers and Jaden Petit and Jonathan Hatton. And you saw inklings of what the manifestations of this philosophy could be when everything really rounded into form and took shape. And it has here in the 2027 cycle. And Oklahoma's right in the thick of things for the number 1 class in the country. I believe with the commitment of Gabe Osborne, they reclaimed the number 1 slot according to 24/7. Rivals still has them at number 2. So by consensus right now, you have a top 2 class in the country. Number 1 for 24/7, number 2 for Rivals. Any way you slice it, it's really not that hard to look at this class. Like, there's not a lot of subjectivity at play here. Oklahoma's class is chock full of players that every school in the country wanted and every school in the country fought for. And yet they chose to matriculate at the illustrious University of Oklahoma. This is the type of recruiting class, ladies and gentlemen, that can help you contend for a championship. It takes more than talent acquisition. It takes development It takes synergy. It takes coaching. But this is the type of recruiting class upon which you can establish a championship foundation. All right, folks. For this Monday installment of Locked In, which has been jam-packed, if I do say so myself, we bid you adieu. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune. We will be back here tomorrow afternoon, same time, same place, as we always are, for another installment of Locked In. Keep it right here on The Ref. The Rush is next.